Welcome, Carnalites, to another episode of The Carnal Conservative. Welcome all, old and new. Hope there's many new of you listening in on this. This particular topic is being done because the conversation around pornography has evolved. This is no longer the old debate, the old narrative that the porn debate is not any longer pearl-clutching mothers trying to protect their children from seeing some natural titties. That's not what this is about anymore. The discussion has evolved, and it's evolved very slowly, and it's swelling up, and we're learning more information, and the people who are speaking out about it today are not the pearl-clutching moms. It's the men who have consumed pornography and who have been affected by it. We also increasingly hear more and more information coming out from the actors and actresses involved in pornography. And we're hearing even more and more disturbing cases involving pornography. And there has been a shattering of the facades and illusions that pornography itself has really endeavored to portray, which have not lived up to reality. And that's why we need to have this discussion and go over some of the facts regarding not just pornography, but specifically the phenomena involving PornHub. And that's what we'll be discussing on this podcast. And first, we're going to go over to an article in The Guardian. Now, I have this article up, and it reads, "The world's biggest porn site under fire over rape and abuse videos. The petition highlighting failure of PornHub to protect rape and revenge porn victims has attracted over 350,000 signatures. PornHub is the world's biggest porn site, and it was visited 42 billion times last year. It is free to access, with no age restrictions, and raises revenue through advertising and paid-for promotions by porn producers. The serious allegations levied against PornHub owner MindGeek center on the perceived insufficiency of the company's safeguarding checks on the 6 million videos per year that are posted on the site, many by amateur producers. Over the past year, the company has faced multiple accusations that rape and abuse videos were widely posted on the site. The petition was started by a group called Exodus Cry in the US, but it is being supported by activists in the UK, where MindGeek also has offices. Quote, "This is a company that is generating millions in advertising and membership revenue, and yet they do not have an effective system in place to verify reliably the age or consent of those featured in the pornographic content it hosts." This is by Exodus Cry founder Lila Micklethwaite. MindGeek, based legally in Luxembourg, that's interesting, we'll talk about that later, Luxembourg, but with offices in Montreal, London, Nicosia, and Los Angeles, I don't know if I pronounced that right, Nicosia, and Los Angeles, denies the allegations made in the petition, insisting that it does have thorough procedures for removing illegal content. In a statement to The Guardian, MindGeek said, "Pornhub has a steadfast commitment to eradicating and fighting non-consensual content and underage material. Any suggestion otherwise is categorically and factually inaccurate." But other campaign groups insist that the criticisms of PornHub are based on evidence of poor practice. Very poor practice, and we'll get into examples of that poor practice later on. Some of the videos on PornHub, as on other free-to-view sites, show extremely hardcore and violent pornography. Campaigners say that this fact, coupled with the high prevalence of videos promoting sex with young teenagers, quote-unquote teen, is one of the most popular categories on the site, means there is an urgent need to know for certain that videos are made consensually. One would think that that should not have to be said, but okay. In October last year, a 15-year-old girl who went missing in Florida was found after videos of her allegedly being raped were uploaded to PornHub, among other sites. PornHub removed the video once it was reported to, and a man accused of statutory rape in connection with the case is currently awaiting trial. The site was also criticized for continuing to host videos by the amateur porn specialist Girls Do Porn, a company that offered girls being featured in porn, quote, for the first and only time, end quote, even as a court in San Diego heard evidence that the videos were made using dishonesty and abuse. The official Girls Do Porn page was not removed from PornHub until October, even though the court began hearing evidence in August. Their videos were still being found on PornHub months later. The men who ran Girls Do Porn, in case you're interested in this, were found liable in a civil case. 2 of them are currently in custody and are now facing criminal charges of sex trafficking, while a 3rd has fled the country and is considered a fugitive. Last month, the BBC reported the story of a woman who was raped at 14, with the video of her abuse ending up on PornHub. We will tell you more about that story as well. She said she then faced a long struggle to have the video removed from the site. PornHub insists that they have robust procedures to stop illegal content from being posted and defend the material posted as legitimate fantasies protected by freedom of speech. And is it heavily ironic that they are invoking the freedom of speech. Now, first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a little look into the details involving that 14-year-old girl who was raped and found out that a video of her rape was uploaded onto PornHub. We found an article about her, and the article calls her Rose, so we will call her Rose. Rose says that she emailed PornHub several times over a period of 6 months in 2009 to ask for the videos to be taken down. She is quoted as saying, "I sent PornHub begging emails. I pleaded with them. I wrote, 'Please, I'm a minor. This is assault. Please take it down.' She received no reply, and the videos remained live. And then, to her credit, she got this bright idea. She set up a new email address posing as a lawyer and sent PornHub an email threatening legal action, after which the videos disappeared within 48 hours. That's the girl who was raped at the age of 14 and had her videos uploaded. It took PornHub 6 months to respond. Actually, no, that's a lie. It took them longer than 6 months. And it's not like we can argue, oh, they didn't have the ability to respond. Oh, they had massive volume. Oh, they had all of these other impediments. Because when this very same girl posed as a lawyer, it was taken down in under 48 hours. That is horrifying. That's absolutely horrifying. Again, we have the case where a 30-year-old man, a Florida man, named Christopher Johnson faced charges for sexually abusing a 15-year-old. Videos of the attack have been posted on PornHub. And let's not forget, just to refresh your memory, last year in 2019, PornHub also removed the channel Girls Do Porn when 22 women sued it for forcing them to take part in videos. And the channel's owners were charged with sex trafficking. Now, I'm also going to remind you of this little detail. They took down the videos, they took down the channel in October, when the court cases involving all of the assholes involved occurred in August. That's not good timing. Not good timing at all. These are just the examples that we have found thus far. I need to lay in that disclaimer. There's probably more shady shit going on in the porn industry regarding human trafficking and the abuse of women and let's just say videos of non-consent. And there are in fact several smaller porn uploading sites that are not even held to the scant amount of accountability as PornHub is. And the reason why we need to bring this information to the debate floor is because engaging the libertarian hot takes defending PornHub have been utterly fantastic. Guys, conservatives are not stupid. We actually understand you. We understand your positions. And we understand what the NAP is. And the fact of the matter is, we would not be wasting our breath with you if all of these examples did not in fact shatter the NAP standard. They all shatter the illusion that all porn is victimless, consensual, and harmless. And that is precisely because we already know your objections, and watching you still perform the mental gymnastics required to defend PornHub, despite them clearly violating the NAP, is cringe. Defending PornHub in light of all the mentioned cases is not a principled position. And quite honestly, it's a little embarrassing to have to point that out to you. But that's not all. That's not the real meat of this argument. Yes, PornHub has been disgusting, at least to the point of being grossly negligent. At least grossly negligent. But we need to dispel another popular illusion. This is the illusion that Pornhub and MindGeek are friends of free speech. The notion that they welcome freedom of expression and diversity of opinions, that they stand for criticism and open dialogue, that is bullshit. It is complete bullshit. Now, granted, once in a while, they'll take a grandstanding motion to promote the content of some video that might have been censored on YouTube. Yeah, la-di-da, they did a publicity stunt. I don't give a shit. These people do not stand for free speech. And in case you missed it in the article, I need to refresh you of some other fact and why it matters. MindGeek, the parent company of PornHub, is based in Luxembourg. Its capital, Luxembourg City, is one of the 4 official capitals of the European Union. It is also the seat of the Court of Justice of the European Union, the highest judicial authority in the EU. Luxembourg, the city in which MindGeek has chosen to do business with, has long been a prominent supporter of European political and economic integration. And in 1921, Luxembourg and Belgium formed the Belgium-Luxembourg Economic Union to create a regime of interchangeable currency and a common customs foreshadowing later efforts at European integration. Luxembourg was one of the founding members of the European Economic Community, which is now the EU. This is the same EU that has passed legislation saying it will censor the internet unilaterally. Mind you, MindGeek is founded on and based from Luxembourg. A recent ruling from the top European Union Court, again in Luxembourg, could stop the whole world from seeing quote-unquote bad characterizations because an Austrian politician sued Facebook for allegedly defamatory comments accompanying a news story on its platform. So these are defamatory comments that came attached to a news story. So we don't know if these are comments on a common thread. We don't know if these are just a regular comment thread or if they were included in the article. We don't know exactly how far-flung this is involved, but apparently it's big enough to have affected Facebook, which makes me think this is probably a comment thread. This is the top European Court of the EU in Luxembourg addressing the comment section of a Facebook news article. The country's courts eventually decided she was right, and not only did they order Facebook to proactively block similar posts in the future, but they also asked the EU Court of Justice to consider whether Facebook should have to do so globally. The judges on that panel in Luxembourg, which MindGeek has chosen to do business with, that is their base of operations, they answered yes. A country can tell a company to use filters, and it can tell a company to use them everywhere. Everywhere. MindGeek, and therefore PornHub, are inextricably tied to the globalist agenda seeking to limit your freedom of speech and your freedom to see the information of others. Freedom of speech cannot work unless it works both ways. Now, if that connection seems too circumstantial, I understand. Maybe they're in Luxembourg, but not of Luxembourg. Fine. But hear me out. We can judge PornHub and MindGeek by their actions. Just this week, PornHub has chosen to remove the ability for anyone to comment on their tweets unless PornHub happens to follow them on Twitter. The only people who get to speak to PornHub are the people PornHub says it wants to listen to on a social media platform predicated on the fair exchange of ideas. Is it coming together now? Is it not mysterious anymore where they come from and how they behave? I need to drill it into the libertarian skull that PornHub does not care about freedom of speech. They cannot handle being called out for being a hashtag traffic hub. They never cared about free speech. They show us this by their actions, and they show us this by the goals of those they choose to do business with. PornHub merely hides behind free speech when it's convenient, and because the libertarian sheep find it easier to chew on than making a raw appeal to economic success that PornHub actually desires. They want to trick you into thinking you're making a principled position when in fact it's just about making money. PornHub has, as a matter of fact, made money on the sex trafficking of non-consenting women. PornHub has, as a matter of fact, been caught trying to sweep it under the rug. They have been caught trying to extend and prolong exposure to videos that they knew would get hits and clicks and advertisement as long as they could, until they had to shut it down, until they were forced to shut it down. PornHub is, as a matter of fact, not a proponent of free speech, but is rather hand in glove with the globalist power structures that continually seek to undermine free speech. So, in closing, for the love of God, people, stop defending PornHub.